Hello, Warrior TV. Steve Knapp, the Mindset Warrior, here with our latest edition of the Power Hour of Mindfulness. And tonight I am joined again. This is our second outing, and it's going to be, if not more exciting than the last time, it's going to be 10 times more exciting because Valerie Andrews, the amazing Valerie Andrews, is here on her own to tell us a bit about her story and how she's helping people and help us get a better understanding of ourselves and our behaviours, and what we're doing can really either set us up for success or set us up for failure. And it is going to be the most amazing interview you've ever seen. So I'm going to do a quick 30-second countdown. And when I'm back, Valerie will be with me. We'll see you soon. Valerie, thanks so much for coming on again. How you going?
I'm good, thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me. So I don't think my picture's in alignment here. Hang on, I'll just move over.
It's tricky because it's all mirrored. So if you think you need to move to the left, then you end up going the wrong way. It's a bit tricky like that.
That's good.
How have you been in the last month since we saw you?
Yeah, no, I've been good actually. Yeah, a lot's changed and a lot's happened. So, it's one of those things in life. So I'm just making use of the spare time I've got in between everything and doing a lot of mindfulness and looking after myself, which is number one.
Excellent. I'm sure we'll be able to tap into some of those mindfulness techniques tonight and give a few people some tips on what's been working for you in the last little bit when life's been changing a little.
Yeah. No, it sounds good.
Awesome. So I hope I didn't put you under too much pressure when I did just promise one of the greatest interviews of all time, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to be, because I know your story pretty well. I'd like to tell everyone that we're pretty close friends, so I know quite a lot about Valerie, and that's why I'm super excited tonight. I know all the amazing work you're doing and the effort you're putting into your business and your constant wealth of knowledge, and the stuff I learned from you is amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'd love to know where it all started. What got you so interested in all of the mindset work and behaviours and all the different techniques that you use now?
Well, to be honest, I've actually, I think over the years throughout my life, I've looked into things like this, however, never really followed through with things, and I've never really understood who I was as a person. So, we go through periods in our life where we think it's the end of the world,
Yeah, guilty.
What's going on? No, there's so many things happening, and not coping, and things like that. And I guess in amongst all of this, I left Australia back in 2004 to try and search for my identity.
Beautiful. God, that feels like 3 years ago when you say 2004.
I know.
My age or what? But yeah, that's what, 17 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. Yeah. So it's like it was, throughout my life and throughout my period of life, I've always felt not worthy, not loved, and not belonged anywhere. I was not shown that support growing up as a child. And it's not, over the years, I've learnt that it's not our parents' fault. It's what they know and what they've been taught. So, I had a lot of blame and played the victim throughout my life, which brought through a lot of depression. When you've got a psychologist that says, you've got clinical depression, like diagnosed, and I refused to believe it. And the reason why I refused to believe it was because I was still getting out of bed every day.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't that. it was deeper than that. And I didn't know why. So over the years, you know, I've been on and off counselors and psychologists. I've been bullied throughout my whole entire life, you know, not only from my school years, but also in my work areas. So even up until recently, you know, so, and I could never understand why. Why am I getting picked on? Why is it me? Why can't I stand up to those people, you know? So it was until I started the healing work and really understanding who I was as a person. Like I said, I left Australia in 2004, got back in 2014, still didn't have the answer, traveled the world, had an amazing time in the process, did all this fun and adventures and everything else. And now understanding the extended disc, which I'll go into it a little bit further, understanding why I love the fun, the adventure. You know, I choose all that over doing the work. So understanding all that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm on that same path. I think fun and adventure definitely overrides any form of work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, it really wasn't until I got back to Australia that I delved into the healing work, because I became so ill from the bullying, from all the built up over the years. And it just took that one last person to be the catalyst to set me off with my health deteriorating, my mind, body, and soul completely shattered and destroyed. And that's when I invested time in people that I trusted and believed in. I invested time in myself, spent at least $30,000 in the last 3 years, you know, on that. And it's been the best investment in my life. And obviously I've invested in coaches. I've invested in other therapists to get me to where I am today, knowing that we have a story, but we're not our story. Yeah.
Brilliantly said. So spot on, isn't it? Like we've all got some form of past traumas and things that we can really find that ability to attach to and not find a way out of it. And until you do sort of step into, like you said, really getting into that healing work and stripping things back a little bit and getting back to where it all came from, you're not really going to be in any different space than you are at that point in time. And I think it's amazing that you could spend 10 years overseas working all that out and then still come back and find, no, there's work to be done. And it's just a phenomenal story that I think, I know I won't put words in your mouth, but I think we've probably found, since you've delved deeper into this, that the same issues you've had are quite common. Even though if you don't hear people talk about them too often, it's pretty rampant. I know, like, we hear a lot in kids and bullying in schools and stuff, but in the workplace, it's absolutely rampant, especially through your sort of middle tier to corporate world. It's just all over the place.
Yeah, totally. And I can see some comments in the chat.
Yeah. Got all the good. Tessa wants to say hello, and Nikki Wouters is saying, awesome, Valerie. Thanks for speaking your story. Adam and Kerry have come on. Oh, and we've got and that'd have to be an Adam question. Valerie, what does the perfect story look like in your eyes?
Oh.
I think that's an Adam question. He likes to go that bit deep at the start.
Perfect story. Well, stories are just really what we believe in and what we make to believe. So if you're envisioning a story or envisioning something that you want in the future, and that story is and you're embedding it on a daily basis, and you're seeing that story in front of you of the life that you're living now, not in the future. So the story that you want to live in the future, but say it all now and embed it now, then you're living that true story of where you want to go and what you want to look like and where you want it to be. So that's my answer.
How powerful is that? And your story is your choice.
Yes.
I'm sure. Yeah, I think I sort of picked that up in your messaging there, like where your story goes and how it ends and all the parts in between. As much as you can sort of be affected by outside influences, it's your story, and you're the one that gets to make your story. And I think that's a really beautiful, powerful thing. And I'm watching your story change by the week. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and it is having the space and time and I believe making time for yourself on a daily basis, on a regular basis, is number one. It's you know, you have the power to change with the right tools, the people supporting you, and the environment that you're in. You know, your internal environment obviously is a reflection of your external environment. So when we truly know who we are at our core, that's when things can change and, you know, move forward. But nature is number one.
Why don't you tell people? I've got to keep stop. I've got to remember that I would know this story different than everyone else. Tell everyone what you do to get out in nature, Valerie, because I love it. And it's a consistent, regular outcome all the time.
Well, I'm usually down, I've got a park near me and it's got kangaroos in it. It's got wallabies. It's got bird life, you know, and that's literally, I'm 10 minutes away from that place and walking around the Walker Waterworks at Maitland. It is gorgeous. And, you know, in summer there's some snakes, so you've got to go at the right time. However, it's a beautiful park. So yeah, I really understand. I really believe, yeah, connecting with nature, connecting with the earth, and having the sounds of those birds, you know, whatever it is around you, and just embrace it and embody it. Because I know I'm guilty. I listen to podcasts or I listen to audios when I'm walking. However, first thing in the morning down that park, you hear all the birds. It's so beautiful, and you just got to listen to the birds, not anything else. So yeah.
Do you reckon that like that first time in the morning is the best time to get out and about in it, when like it feels like all of the nature and the animals and everything's waking up, and you get to sort of experience it firsthand and hear their good morning songs chirping away and everything? I think that's just the best time of day to get out and about and experience it all.
Yeah. Actually, it's quite funny because I like to also journal and do my gratitudes and do yoga, you know, and they're three things, as well as doing affirmations and things. So they're basically the things I really enjoy more of a morning as well. So I feel like once that's done, and my reading, I do some reading as well. Once that's done, then my reward can be going for that walk, you know. So, and having the time in the nature, and then coming back and doing everything else that needs to be done on the day. Yeah.
It's so good. What a ritual to start the day. That's like 4 amazing things that, knowing you, were probably ticked off by 7 a.m. No waiting for like a 9 o'clock sort of wander out into nature. Tick all these boxes nice and early and start the day in the best possible manner you can.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, morning's the best time when you go to bed on time, because I love my 8 hours sleep. Very important.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that as well. Don't always get it, but you feel the difference. I think especially if you have multiple nights of not hitting your 8 hours,
yeah,
that can be like a drain of having one night of 2 hours. You really need that consistency to get your foundations right and your body clock feeling like it is ready to attack the day when the alarm goes off bright and early, don't you?
Oh, definitely. And the later we go to bed, I mean, it's kind of getting off topic a little bit, but the later we go to bed, there's things in our body that cause more inflammation in it as well. So it is so important, you know, to not eat too late, so we're not got those inflammation things happening in our body, because that's the time of night where it just rejuvenates. And the more sleep we have, the more it, can build up our immune system as well.
And I remember reading somewhere, could be totally false, I'm not going to advocate it as fact, but I remember reading somewhere at some point that every hour you sleep before midnight is worth 2 hours afterwards.
Oh, right. Yeah,
That you'll
right.
get the really most regenerative sleep, in those earlier hours rather than sort of like the 3, 4, 5 a.m. So that's why a lot of us tend to get the stranger dreams and wake up a lot closer to wake up time than we do. They reckon that real peak time, if you can get sort of that between 9 and midnight, is basically as good as sleeping from midnight to 6 a.m. just on its own.
Yeah, right.
Could be totally non-factual, but I remember that. Something that's
I love
stuck.
my sleep. I love my sleep.
I take it too. Oh, and the amazing Rob Cummins has jumped
Hey,
on.
Rob. Hey, Rob. I can see Adam has changed. So asked a question. So would you see it as an opportunity rather than a choice to show the insight of who that individual really is? It depends on, okay, so Adam, to answer your question, I guess it depends on who you're showing up as or who you're showing up to. Do you know what I mean? So it's about, having the authenticity to be that person with everybody you can be. However, I know there's certain people that, you want to protect yourself to as well. And that's normal in life. If you're going to have a conversation with someone and you're going to see them only for that short period, then they don't need to know everything. However, if you're going to build up those long conversations and build up the trust and build up the compassion and care with somebody, then maybe that may change depending on who you are. So it really does. I believe it depends on what circumstances you're in, and that kind of comes back to the extended disc as well of what we're going to talk about tonight, because it really does talk about who we are being and what our innate energies are, and are we stepping into those, or are we pleasing other people? So it's kind of a little bit like that for the extended disc, when we really know who we are. And hey, Rob, lovely to see you too. Yeah, nice.
Rob's a legend. So yeah, let's expand on that, Valerie. I think that's a good time. Let's give people a good understanding of what eDisc is and where it came from and why you're so passionate about it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess extended disc is a behavioural assessment, and it identifies our strengths and development areas of an individual. So we all get our own report when we do it. And when it talks about strengths, it also talks about strengths, motivators and weaknesses and much more. It goes into a 20-page report and it's personalized to that person. So, it's to support their development and enhance communication, especially in the workplace as well as, our personal life. So when we can use it, sometimes we're in a workplace scenario and somebody snaps at us or talks to us a particular way. And it's just like, well, hang on, are you attacking me? Or is that just your style? And when you understand the 4 different areas of extended disc, you really get to, question it. Oh, okay. Are they using their nature from their own behavioral style, or are they using it to attack me? So it's about knowing who people are, how they behave can really, really make a difference. And when we know our own style, then we can actually communicate effectively with other people as well. So it's really, I think it's a really powerful instrument to have behind us, because we can then understand. And before I did this, I had no idea what masculine and feminine energies were. It's just like, what?
No, it's phenomenal. And I mean, I'm not sure if you're the same. I mean, you know a lot more about eDisc than I do, but it is a bit of a fun game when you're in a group of people to try to pick what energy everyone is, and you just kind of go, yes, there's a D if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. And I better explain the areas just so people are aware as well. So yeah, we've got our dominant energy, which is our warrior archetype, and our dominant area archetype, so to speak, you know, they can be the goal setters. They can be the ones that get things done. They can be the ones who say, okay, let's just get it done. That's it. Go, 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 go. And everything's full on. It's just like, whoa, slow down. Especially if you're, and that's the actual masculine energy one, like dominant. Then you can be an influencer like me, who loves the fun and adventure, like you, Steve, who loves the fun and adventure, jump into things, say yes, figure out how, you know, they like to be liked as well, and they like the validation, and they're known as the joker, so to speak. So you'll see them at a party, they'll be the jokers. So, and then, of course, you've got the compliant people, which are kind of like the safe people. You know, they're the mother nurturers. They're the ones who are calm, easy, you know, wanting to help everyone, you know, and, you know, they're trustworthy, they're laid back. However, they can also be reserved and slower paced, and more, they can be detail orientated as well. So, yeah. Nikki, I wonder what you are. I know Nikki personally, so I've got an idea. Yeah, so they can be.
Rob might be on the money too. Rob is a bit of a joker. I think he knows where he lies in the whole scheme of things as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then of course you've got your compliant, and these people like the small detail. You know, the really step by step action steps. Okay, what are we doing next? What's this? What's that? And sometimes they can get so focused on that where they forget everything else. So, yeah, they you know, and they can be reserved and hard to, I guess, gain the trust as well. You know, they can be more difficult gaining the trust. So, yeah, there's just so much around the extended disc itself. You know, it's massive. You know, we can look at, you know, the patterns and things like that. So we're all born innately with 1, 2, 3. Very uncommon to have the 4 of them. So the 4 of them, there's only 1% of the population out there to have the 4 areas. And yeah, and the dominant energies are up the top, which are our, the masculine energies are up the top. They're the goal setters, they're the small detail, they're the precise, they're the logic, they're the ones that say yes and go for it and things like that. So they're the masculine energies. They just go, go, go. And the feminine is a bit more laid back, relaxed to their approach, and, you know, just really takes that a little bit harder. The feminine side, it's a little bit harder to jump into the masculine side because they want to please people. They want to be nice. They, you know, so jumping into the masculine side is getting shit done, let's just say.
And I suppose we should also clarify that masculine doesn't mean that you're a male and feminine doesn't mean you're a female. Like, just because I'm a bloke doesn't mean I have a strong D energy. It's actually something that I resonate about 0% with. I'm that far from it. It's not funny. The other 3 I'm quite similar, but yeah, it's got nothing to do with your sex. It's all, yeah, its energy is not gender specific.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about it also is once you know your percentages and what you are, you can actually step into the other areas. So that's a bit different between the personality profiling and the extended disc. So extended disc means we're not just put in a box, you know, we can actually step into those other areas with the assistance from our energies that we don't know, that we already have. So for instance, for me, just an example, I am an INS. So I'm all the I'm all the feminine side, and jumping into the D, like the dominant energy, jumping into that for me, I'll go to a cafe because I love being around people, being the influencer, and I'll go to a cafe to do those D jobs, to get the goals done.
Just for the experience. That's the place where it's going to flow. I like that.
To have the people around me, although not with me, and in that environment, to really get things done. Yeah,
that's brilliant. Is that Adam having a poke at me again?
Yes.
See, he thinks he's joking, but Adam, it's an actual fact. I much greater have a feminine side than masculine side in so many areas of my personality and the way I am as a person. So maybe that's why I always have a beard. I'm trying to make up for it somehow and have a masculine exterior to cover the feminine interior. I don't know. It's a yin and yang balance thing I've got going on. Energy's energy, and you don't really – I shouldn't say you don't have the ability to control it. You have ability to understand it, and you can sort of enhance your feminine strengths or enhance your masculine strengths. And if you feel deficient in some, once you have a good understanding of where your drivers are, then you've got a bit more control to sort of, like Valerie said, to go to the cafe to work on the dominant side of things. That's where you get the ability to work on different avenues of your personality and your behaviour, I suppose.
Yeah.
If that made sense.
Yeah.
I think we got there in the end.
Totally. When you find out who you are, it's just like, oh, that makes sense, because we can also be resourceful and unresourceful in our energies. So when I talk about resourceful and unresourceful, so basically, we can be working towards them. So, being the I energy, you can be talkative and social and optimistic and energetic and people orientated. However, again, going on the unresourceful things, having poor attention to detail, overly talkative, you can be emotional more, so, and over promising. So, if people are interested in getting their reports done, I give out, the information as to extra information on top of just the report. So people really understand who they are. So they, I think that's only fair to really go over and above to give the extra resources so they truly understand, and how to communicate with somebody, what you do, how you speak to someone, and how you don't speak to someone with their energies. So, yeah, it's really interesting.
So cool thing to learn. I like I saw Believe in Yourself said, this much is certain, I've met all sorts and appearances can be deceiving. And they certainly can. And I think this works on two fronts. Like, you have a better understanding of your behavioural type. You can probably be more intentionally deceiving. But you also, if you have a great understanding of behavioural types, it's a hell of a lot easier to see through that deception and cotton on a bit more to where someone's actually coming from, I think.
Yeah, totally. Do you want to just read the comments, the rest of the comments, Steve?
Yeah. Rob's too. He's feminine as well. Rob's with Team Steve, and believe me, did the beer thing, had a fold-away forked goatee, but his mother didn't like it. Adam can see us both co-hosting a weekly show. Adam, I'm running out of nights, but we can work something out.
Oh, too funny.
And Rob would do that. Yeah. I don't know what Rob would never do. I don't think there's anything that Mr. Cummins would never do.
No.
And Tessa's just jumped in. This is so beneficial, and we would all benefit from knowing more, especially workplaces, which is an important area for understanding. Like, it's not just employers or it's co-workers, it's the whole demographic, isn't it, Valerie, when you get into a workplace?
Yeah, oh, totally. And again, like I said, most of my workplaces, I've been bullied. And knowing now and understanding now that I'm an I and S energy, stepping into that dominant role of who I am and who I need to be able to have the power to speak up for myself. I've had to learn that. Now, understanding a lot more about the extended disc, I now know how I can approach that person with the right language to then step further forward into my dominance and step into, and I'm not saying in an egotistical way, I'm just saying in a powerful way that I can stand up for who I am and what I believe in. So and it wasn't until I understood this, and I was in a workplace where I had somebody, 18 months, they bullied me, 18 months, and I learnt the tools that were taught to me through the employment that I was employed in. And I went to their courses. Did it do me any good? No, but I have that as a tool now because I've stood up for myself. Because once you're in it, when you're in all that pain, when you're in all that suffering, when you're feeling worthless, when feel you're not supported, when all you want to do is put that shield on when you go to work, you learn how to protect yourself. You learn not to go into work at a certain time. You learn to stay out of the office at a certain time. You have to adapt to be able to cope and manage, and I really don't understand how I didn't have a nervous breakdown. Yes, my health suffered as such, physically, because of the mental side of it. But understanding, I wish I had this tool prior to that, so I could have learned how to step into my dominant side. What are the tools I need to be able to step into that side? How can I explain to that person or talk to that person that particular way so I can then rise up above the whole lot, So, and I had another work colleague as well who spoke to me a particular way, like really direct, short, sharp. And again, was she taking it? Well, I took it personally until I understood this. I absolutely took it personally. And it's just like, no, that's just the dominant energy. It's all good, Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you take things like that personally because you don't understand the behaviour, they're the sort of things that can totally ruin your day because you've latched on to that one comment, and then for the rest of the day you're like, oh, they had a go at me, oh, they're shitty with me, and it had nothing to do with that. It's just the way they are. So that understanding can save you like an 8-hour workday of pain just knowing that one comment didn't have the meaning you gave it.
Yeah. And you know what was really funny? So this was another person. She actually said to me, after I'd done the e-disc and grown a lot more, she said to me, you've changed, you've grown, that's wonderful to see the growth in you and, the communication and everything. It's just like, oh, thanks. Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? It's good that people can see that difference too.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
No, great. A lot of our internal work is very, very openly easy to see externally once we've started making the changes, and it doesn't take long for all the benefits to start to rise up and be very obvious to everyone around us.
Yeah,
What's Adam come up with now? Would you agree with me when I say when we are triggered 9 times out of 10, we turn it into a mistake? So if we can tap into our subconscious mind, we can transform it into an opportunity rather than a mistake.
That's very big. Hang on. I've got to break that one down.
Because he doesn't like to use grammar. So it just ends up reading as one massive long sentence.
No, Come on, okay. He's big picture. He's big picture. He's like me. He's big picture. So I guess when we say the word triggered comes from fear as well. So, it's our subconscious, again, our conditioning, our past, telling us, well, hang on, that's happened before in the past, and you go back there. So anything that triggers us, it's something that's already happened in the past, and we're taking that on board. So I don't see it as a mistake at all. I see it as an awareness and learning from that, Adam. So I guess that's my answer in that one. And
that's the Tessa, isn't it?
Yeah, and Tessa's got a few comments there too.
Yes. Yeah, because you're not in your dominant energy, those bullies can break your confidence and make you doubt your abilities. Makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And Yeah, 8 hours of pain goes away when you understand it's just the energy they're in the morning and we're giving it, and the meaning we're giving it. It's so true. Like,
It is.
we attach so much crazy meaning that isn't relevant. I know I've mentioned it before, it's brought up quite a bit in a couple of my trainings, in that the text message has become the greatest means of miscommunication on the planet and has caused so many fights and disagreements, which is another bit why I'm a little bit of a grammar Nazi, because if you leave out one comma, someone can totally misread what you're saying to them, and it's created so much bedlam in the world that we never had before. People had the chance to just go, when you had to ring on the home phone, no miscommunication happened.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And just going back to that comment, Adam, about our subconscious and conscious mind. So I guess the great thing about the extended DISC report, it comes out with special cases as well. So not only are we born innately with our energies, and don't get me wrong, it's an 88% accurate proof that this report has done on so many people. Sorry, I don't know the statistics. And it actually gets tested, tried and tested every 2 years. So it's not, it's not false. It's more, there's evidence out there that's an evidence-based instrument that we use. And the beautiful thing about it is there's 10 special cases that can come out of that report. So if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling like a failure, if you're feeling certain things, that can come out in the report as well. So that's, that's a beautiful thing. We've got our conscious and our subconscious. So what we're born with, we've got a graph, and we compare it to how we're living today. So if you're working in a job where you're not a dominant person and you don't know, you've got to really use so much energy setting goals. You've got to use so much energy on managing people. You've got to use so much energy on that. Then you're draining your energy, and because you've learnt to do that. However, you naturally belong doing something that's in the feminine base. Then that job role is probably not matched to you. You're not enjoying it, and your energy's being depleted. So when you truly know the job roles that suit your energies, you may want to go to work a lot more. I mean, imagine waking up and say, "Yay, let's go! I'm enjoying my job." So
How good.
yeah, when you're doing something you really love. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever really worked much in an environment that suits the I energy. It's probably why I've been in conflict for so long.
yeah,
Roof tiling's not really an I energy, and all trade-based things aren't. I think the closest I've come's when I've run large groups of tradesmen, or I've run like more of a service-based industry in the trades field, and I get that one-to-one interaction and face-to-face stuff. But I think you're onto something there. No reason I hated going to work for so many years. None of it aligns with who I am.
Yeah, and the I jobs are more about the care and compassion jobs as well.
Yeah,
I've been in disabilities. I've been in aged care. I've been working in pubs. I've been working in admin. I've been working behind the bar. So that alone has a lot of people around me as well.
yeah, brilliant.
So yeah, and the caring and compassion is the S energy, and the I energy is the fun, the people, being connected with others on a regular basis. So I've been in the right job roles. However, the bullying has caused me not to want to be there. Apart from one job, I was in one job for 6 years. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved the people. Could not have had a better group of people because I worked for a charity as well. So, in Scotland. Yeah. So,
Beautiful. Was that part of the between 2003 and the 2004 world tour?
Yeah. I think it was 2006 I moved to Scotland, Glasgow, and lived there for 6 years. So, yeah, I worked with deaf-blind people. So I was a guide communicator for deaf-blind people, so sign language and all that. So, yeah, very kind, compassionate people, beautiful people to work with and for.
Nice and rewarding too. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And Adam says, when it comes to goals, where do you see the Mental Health Warriors organisation in the future?
Oh, I don't know a lot about the Mental Health Warriors organisation, to be honest, Adam. So Steve might be the best one to answer that one.
Yeah, I mean, I just like to see it as a place of constant growth, I think, and more spreading the awareness, a constant like revolution of amazing guests that have fantastic stories to tell, that does constantly help break down the stigma around mental health issues. And hopefully we're also moving onto a tangent now where we're providing a lot of value to people that don't generally get to hear these sort of conversations normally, and might find a couple of little, if it's one person a show that can find one little bit that helps them drive forward, then I think, and then God knows where else. I know we've had discussions. We'd like to be doing a few mental health things in face-to-face things around the world, and it's just going to be a nice little constant evolution, I think, and where it goes will be where it's meant to be.
Yeah, definitely, Rob, breaking the stigma. Yeah, it is. And it is breaking the stigma for out there, and, you know, maybe getting some funding for projects as well, humanitarian projects that are coming up. I've heard about one recently, and I'm going to join to see what I can do to help as well.
Brilliant. What's that one?
Oh, I'm not 100% sure of the organisation itself, but I can, I can definitely share it with yourself. I can't guarantee for everyone, but yeah.
I'm not for everyone. Don't worry about that.
But yeah. Oh, fantastic! Congratulations, 300th episode. Fantastic! Wow, that's great. Yeah,
good. That's good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And it is the awareness, having the awareness that we're not broken, you know. That just sums it up itself, you know. We are not broken. We are all individual. We all have our own identity. We all have our own self-worth. We all have our own belonging. We all, you know, we're loved, we're valued, we're worshipped, we're, you know, we're actually, we are spiritual beings, I believe, here for a reason, you know. And the more we can love ourselves, the more other people will love us. We will love. Yeah, I guess the more we love it, the more love we can give ourselves, the more love we can give others.
And the more love we'll receive. It just becomes one gigantic love fest. It's beautiful. Yeah, it is. That's what we want. We want more love everywhere, because it's a lot different to the general vibe around the world, especially at the moment. There's so much division and not a lot of love going around. It's just nice to spread a bit, have a bit of positivity, and understand where you're coming from. And I think, have you found also with like the EDIS stuff, Valerie, that you can be more loving towards others that are of different opinions because you've got an understanding of where they're coming from?
Yeah, of course. You know, everybody has their own story. And like I said, although we've got our own story, we're not our story. We all have a story, we're not our story. But also, understanding, oh, right, okay, so that person needs all the details. So now I have to really think about, because I'm not a small detail person, I really have to think from reverse engineer the end result to the beginning, really, really think how that person wants that information. So the information I give them, it's just like, okay, step by step. And I have to train myself in that, because it doesn't come naturally. And again, it comes back to that communication. The more we can talk to somebody in their language, not ours, their communication style, the more they're going to be, the more they're going to realize, oh, she gets me. Oh, that's amazing, you know, because, you know, we get to learn that we have to listen carefully. We get to learn that we can answer questions calmly. You know, we get to learn that we have to be thorough and have the facts and provide them with the information for basically the C energy. But the S energy, we have to proceed in a logical manner. You know, we have to ask specific questions to find out their true needs. because they're not going to open up as much. So, it's about once you understand who you're talking to, you can really speak their language. And D people, you've got to be direct. You've got to make sure they win. And, you've got to concentrate on the subject. Don't go off the subject. Just concentrate. They can do one thing at a time. And that's once they're focused, that's what they're focused on. And next topic. It kind of, that's all you're talking about until you say, okay, let's move on or whatever, because you really, that's how they want to be spoken to.
Or talk about them. They tend to like that too.
Yes, it's true.
Sorry, no, I'm not going to belittle the Ds out there. I'm sure I might have a couple of Ds that like the show, so I shouldn't do it, even though they do.
No, but that's okay. They're allowed to. I energies are the same. What are you talking about? We like to talk about ourselves.
Yeah, just in a different way. I'll tell you one thing, though, when you do get into that, the understanding and the learning how to communicate, if you're in a sales or customer relations-based employment or business owner, this stuff is beyond worth its weight in gold. Like you would have no idea how different your sales or everything else will increase if every single person you're talking to is on their level of understanding and comprehension as opposed to yours. It just changes everything. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And like the C energy itself, they're the 8-time convincers.
Yeah.
Because not only do they need the facts, they need the trust, the belief, the proof, the what's the results? What am I going to get out of it? They need all the answers. Whereas an I energy like myself will just jump in. It's just like, yeah, okay,
Yeah, we're the easy cells out there in the world. So,
yeah.
Do you like this? Oh, yeah, why not? Let's give it a go. It could be something cool. Might have fun with that. Don't need any details.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you're right there. Meeting someone where they're at is magical.
It truly is, because you're taking yourself out of the equation to a certain extent. It's having that really enjoyment to come to somebody where they are in their happy place and listening and caring and being open to what they've got to say. There's no better enjoyment in life than having two people in a conversation where they're both totally engrossed in hearing each other's story and there's no outside noise. They're just presently in the moment for that whole time. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I love Rob with all his love fest. Love's a good love fest. He's got love to share. There's love everywhere from Mr. Cummins. We're used to that. Nothing ever changes.
She gets me. I love it. Oh, too funny. Yeah. So I like working with people who have felt bullied, disempowered, and have low self-esteem, and like I said, improving relationships, feeling empowered and having the self-confidence again to live in harmony and who we are and to be the best versions of ourselves, including the connection, the empowerment, the harmony, the joy, the love and the peace, like truly creating a life that we truly desire, and there's a great saying, and it's called "Inspiration is all around us. Don't let the brain limit the mind," by Lizzie Harrison.
Yeah, that is cool. I really like that. It takes you on a different plane of thinking, doesn't it? It's not everything's so cut and dry. You have to sort of look outside of things that are just you get caught up in of every moment of the day and just let things be. Yeah. Then it's going to change. Oh, I love it. I love it. You come out with some ripper quotes that you find around the place. Very impressed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Tessa likes it.
Again, life either happens by design or default, and we get to choose. So that's a one by Bob Proctor. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a much more advanced version of mine. It happens to us or for us. Make your choice. And I think what else have you got coming up, Valerie, that people might be able to understand a bit more about eDisc? Have you got anything else in the pipeline that you'll be doing soon?
I might do a workshop. Hey, let's commit. I'll commit to a workshop in.
Might have accidentally forced you into that there. Sorry.
That's all right. I could do an Eventbrite event probably in a couple of weeks, so I can post it in the Warriors group.
Yeah, because I think there's so much benefit for everybody. There is not a single soul on earth that can't gain great insight into understanding everything that eDisc is about and the things that you bring to the table. And I know I said the other day you're like CSI Miami or something. The behavioural profiler comes in like, who was the problem in the crime there? Valerie's going to break it down and find us. But it's like having a joke, but it is that sort of powerful stuff, and it can really elevate your gaming life when you learn not just who you are, but how to deal with the other energies around you. Pretty, like, would you say once you've done a little bit of work on understanding, it's quite easy and effortless to pick up on the other energies and how to engage with them? After a bit of practice?
I mean, it depends on how much time you spend in their presence, as opposed to how much you can pick up, I think. I mean, obviously my mentor, Joe Parnay, he can just talk to someone or text someone or phone call to someone. He can pick it up like that because he's been doing this stuff for 10, 11 years, even longer. I can tell in a text usually.
Yep.
And I can usually tell as soon as I talk to them. So as to who they are.
A lot of people wouldn't understand that you'd pick up energies from written communication.
Yeah. No,
and it's cool. But it makes sense, doesn't it? Because, I mean, I think us eye energies are the ones that will elongate words, we'll throw a few extra emojis in there, we'll be like a bit more excited and bouncy in text form, and the Ds will be like, yep. Hey, mate, how you been? Do you want to catch up on the weekend? We can maybe do this. Yep. It's like you can it can be really simplistic even in written form.
Yeah. And it's about, if someone asks how's this work, and, what do I need to do or whatever, and they want to know the answers before it's even happened, then, they're the C people as well. So, it's quite fascinating. Yeah. When you have like the information in front of you too. Like once I do the extended disc with people, I give them the tools so they can then read up more further on it and understand further, so they can then have, like you said, a game, not so much a game, but try and pick the energies and have their language with them as well, because communication is key to everything, as we all know. And once we have the communication and the compassion and the caring, which which are the three things people mostly want in having those relationships and building the relationships, then it's really, really powerful on top of the extended disc. And knowing what program, when I talk programs, I say knowing what paradigm we're running at the current moment. So what's holding you back, what's really limiting you, and that comes out through the report as well. That's the beautiful thing about it. What's happening in your life right now, and literally within 10 minutes, the report can be done, sent back, and then bang, let's work together. Yeah.
And that's where the fun begins, isn't it? Like the whole answering the questions, report stuff. Yeah, that's cool. Like you get some really good stuff happening, but the real good stuff comes in the unpack. That part where you really get to dig into it, and especially like, I know, like we've discussed this a lot from point of view of having an understanding, but I tell you, when you do this with no idea, like apart from, say, you've just watched this show and that's your whole understanding of eDisc, you will be absolutely blown away. You'll have a whole different outlook on not only who you are, but who the people around you are. You'll, I've had better understandings of dealing with my partner because I've got an understanding now of not only why she does what she does, but I understand greatly why she hates what I do. So now I can try to bend a bit more beneficially to help myself out there. It doesn't always work, but it's certainly helped understand how I can change certain behaviours to keep peace, and also things that I know will irritate me because we're just very different in our energies and what drives us. So if I think there's something like that coming, then I'll escalate myself out of the situation and run around the corner for a bit. Because, you can use a lot of situations, or you can enhance a lot of situations just from that basic understanding.
Oh, totally. And I think it actually empowers a workplace even further too, because they then understand, oh, that person's matched to that job, that person's matched to that job, And when people actually understand other people's behavior, I think they can then just accept, have that acceptance for themselves as well as the others around them, and have the compassion for who they're working with. And on that note, on top of that, when you're talking about relationships and getting to know who you're with and who you're dealing with, on top of that, having the core drivers, like we've got 6 core drivers on top of that. And as a bonus, I actually do that session with people, so they understand what their core driver is, so that's an added bonus.
Priceless added bonus, I must say.
that I do with people, so they too know what their core drivers are.
Which is very, very cool. Like this stuff, I tell you, get all over it if you get the opportunity, because I just can't I can't think off the top of my hand something that's so, I wouldn't say basic, but it is quite basic and simple to do. Like, you don't have to spend hours like answering questions to do the report yourself. So once you've done all that, like, it is quite simple, but for what you gain from it is so beneficial. And God, I swear, even if you were a hermit living in a cave, you could get some sort of value out of this just for knowing why your thoughts are telling you these things while you're sitting in the cave. Like, you can learn something no matter what situation you're in. And I think another thing, I know this isn't totally aligned to what Valerie does with eDisc, but as a parent, understanding the best ways to communicate with your children, because you'll find that a lot of them are different. I know having 4 of them, they're not all the same energies either. So having that way, you can't just have a hard and fast rule to go, right, this is it for all of you. You got one's going to benefit from you going this way, one's going to work from that way, one's going to like that way, and there's so much to gain out of it. It's just huge.
Yeah. And on top of that, like when I was saying about myself, literally goal setting, I used to give myself the hardest time about goal setting. Like, why aren't I goal setting? Why aren't I interested in goal setting? And it makes sense. I'm not a D energy. I'm an I energy. And the I energy, I'm not using goals, the word goals. I'm using intentions. They're my intentions. They're not my goals. The word intention resonates with me more than a goal, So it's about finding what suits us and I stopped giving myself a hard time when it says, right, now I understand why I don't do goals. Right. Because I was always giving myself a hard time. How much grief did I give myself not knowing that one little simple thing, about myself.
That is awesome. I love it, Valerie. Well, we're just about out of time. I think we've given people a very, very good understanding of eDisc and who you are and what you do, which I think, can we give a quick plug of your website?
Sure. It's just ifeelawesome.org. That's it.
How good's that? I feel awesome. Easy to remember.
.org.
It's a great website. I've been all over it. .org. Don't forget the .org. Absolutely, that'll give you any chance to connect with Valerie. If you've got any questions, you can message through there. It's just an absolute fantastic site. It's got my favourite colour in it. It's bright, beautiful, sparkly. I love it. Yeah. And before we go, I know Adam's put this in twice because he somehow doesn't seem to trust me, even though I do this at the end of every show. Coming up tomorrow, Arnie Shazza, the Emoji Warrior, will be back, which will be 8 p.m. our time, because I refuse to mention anyone else's time. It's only Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time in our world. Adam's already put the UK time in there, and for Arnie Shazza will be another hour earlier. And she will have Karen Larkins and Simone Kate Graydon, which will be very, very cool. Good bunch of besties that have been friends for a long time. So I think that'll be an awesome, awesome chat. And I think so many people to thank for tuning in again tonight. Absolutely amazing. So cool to have all these great comments coming through, and really always appreciate the people that engage and jump on every week and have a chat to us, and everyone who gets in on the replays. Absolutely love it. And, of course, my biggest thanks goes to the number one star of the night, Valerie. Thanks so much for coming on for round 2.
No, thank you. Thanks, Steve, for having me. And thanks, everyone, for jumping in and putting comments. And thanks, Nikki and Tessa and Rob and Adam, and I think his wife Kerry was there.
Kerry,
and somebody else was there earlier.
Yeah, that wasn't the actual name though, so I don't know what to call them apart from a beautiful.
I believe was there. Yeah.
So that was brilliant, guys. And for anyone that's already getting excited, Valerie will be back with me again in another 4 weeks.
Believe in yourself. Thank you.
Believe in yourself. That was the one. Thank you for what you say.
All I saw was believe in yourself.
Yeah,
beautiful.
And he's on the same page as us. Time for bed in a few hours. Although actually, I think about an hour for me down here.
Oh no, I've got half an hour. I'm going to bed soon.
Yeah, half an hour. I've got an hour. So thanks so much, everyone. Massive appreciation. Tune in to Arnie Shazza tomorrow. Obviously, for myself, I'll be back with the amazing Tessa next Tuesday for our next episode of Empower You. And then after last week's technical difficulties, next week's Power Hour of Mindfulness will have Kate Taylor. Whether it kills me, we'll be making sure we can hear her, and that will be awesome too. So thanks so much, everybody. Thanks, Valerie, and we'll see you all soon.
Good night.